You've heard the name whispered, right? It's like this digital back alley of the internet, a place shrouded in mystery and some pretty dark rumors. We're talking about the dark web. But what is it, really? And I think the bigger question is, should you ever go there?
That's really the heart of it, isn't it? Beyond all the hype and the scary stories, what are the actual risks of dipping your toes into this hidden corner of the online world? Let's dive in and find out. So, first things first, we got to understand the lay of the land. The internet that you and I use every single day, for Google searches, shopping, scrolling through social media, that's just a tiny fraction of what's actually out there. Get this. A staggering 90% of the internet is completely invisible to search engines like Google. This huge hidden part is called the deep web. But here's where people get mixed up. It's so important to know that the deep web and the dark web are not the same thing at all. Think of the deep web as just normal, non-public stuff, like your online bank account or your private company emails. Harmless, right? The dark web, on the other hand, is a very small piece of that deep web that's been hidden on purpose. You can't just stumble onto it. You need special tools just to find the door. And this iceberg analogy, it's perfect. The surface web is just that little tip we can all see. But beneath the water, you've got the massive deep web. And way down at the very bottom, in the absolute darkest depths, that's where you find that tiny, dangerous point, the dark web. It's the place people go when they really don't want to be found. So, why is it so dangerous? I mean, let's just put aside the technical and legal stuff for a second. There's a real psychological price to pay. Let's look at what some people who've actually been there say they can never, ever forget. This person on Quora doesn't even want to get into the details of what they saw. All they say is it was a video of someone getting hurt, and it was so bad, it just made them quit for good. It goes to show, curiosity can lead you to places you just can't unsee. And the stories just get more specific and more disturbing. This user says they were just clicking random links and landed on a how-to section about cooking humans. They didn't even see a video. Just reading the comments was enough to traumatize them for days. And it's not always just the content itself. It's the communities that build up around it. This person saw a video of someone being harmed while dozens of others were watching and cheering it on, making these awful comments. It's like a virtual mob. Okay, so maybe you think you're smart. You'll avoid the really disturbing stuff. You're just there to look around. But that feeling of being anonymous, that safety you think you have, a lot of the time it's just an illusion. And a few simple mistakes can expose you completely. So many users make these really critical mistakes. They'll use the Tor browser but forget a VPN, leaving them wide open if Tor itself has a problem. They'll use these proxy sites that offer zero protection, or they'll accidentally download a malicious file. But one of the biggest mistakes? Enabling scripts. See, enabling scripts on one of these .onion sites, it's basically like lowering the drawbridge to your digital castle. You're pretty much inviting malware, a digital Trojan horse, to walk right into your computer. And then you're completely exposed. And here's the real kicker. Even the Tor browser, the main tool for all of this, isn't foolproof, not even close. It has been cracked before. And if that happens while you're on there, your real IP address, your computer's home address on the internet, is suddenly visible to anyone who's watching. And trust me, someone is always watching. And that brings us to maybe the biggest risk of all. You're not just trying to hide from hackers. You're trying to hide from global law enforcement. And they are actively patrolling these dark corners of the web. You think it's a safe place to buy stuff? Think again. In just a single one-year period, authorities in the UK made over 1,200 drug seizures directly linked to the dark web. This idea that it's some kind of safe, anonymous marketplace? It's just not true. What's really crazy is that the legal risk can actually be higher than buying something on the street. Police in the UK point out that if your package is coming from another country, that's not just possession. You could get hit with an importation charge, which is a way more serious crime. And this is absolutely crucial to understand. The authorities aren't just waiting for people to mess up. They're proactive. They run undercover stings, they pose as sellers, they even set up their own fake websites just to lure people in. You have no idea who you're actually talking to. And the scale of these operations is just staggering. In one single operation, the FBI collected over 1,000 IP addresses from users just in the US. Europol generated over 3,000 new cases from another. They are watching and they are collecting data on a massive scale.
Okay, so we've looked at the psychological damage, the technical traps, and the very, very real legal dangers. So let's go back to our big question. Is venturing into the dark web ever actually worth the risk?
Now look, to be fair, there are a few legitimate uses. For whistleblowers, for activists in repressive countries, or for people who just need total anonymity to talk about sensitive personal issues. In those cases, the dark web can be a lifeline. But these are really extreme niche situations.
For the average person, for you or me who's just driven by a bit of curiosity, the answer is a hard no. The risk of seeing something awful, of getting your computer hacked, or of ending up on a government watch list, it's just not worth it to satisfy a little curiosity. And I guess that's the thought I want to leave you with. We all get curious, I get it. But in a place where one wrong click can seriously mess with your mental health, your security, and your future, you really have to ask yourself, is that a line you were ever willing to cross?